Alright, everybody, let's finish this series up with the last installment before the TV series, 2017's Cult of Chucky, again directed by Don Mancini, and starring, obviously, Brad Dourif, Fiona Dourif, we have Alex Vincent in here, we have Jennifer Tilly back in here, and some other people who I don't really know. So, this is such a good, fun film, man. Just like everyone in this series. I have some gripes with it. Mostly just like my little nitpicks that I always do, mostly relating to this psychiatric hospital that they're in. There's some ridiculous shit in here, but I'll get to that though. But we open up with Andy on a date and everything, and just right from the beginning of this movie, how they just bring you right back into Andy's life and make you feel so bad for this guy. Again, just from the first three movies, on just how bad you feel for this kid. And now he's a grown adult, and he can't get a break. This guy, he can't get a date. He has no love life. His business is all over the internet, all his past and everything that is accessible by anybody. He spends his Friday nights with Chucky's head. This poor fucking man, he's gone through so much, and he still just can't get away from this doll. He just can't get away from Chucky. And they're like best friends to this day. And him just spending his nights torturing him and everything. It's funny, but it's so sad, dude. This poor guy, what he's been through. Can't have a life at all. It's really sad. I like seeing the Kent military shirt on the wall in front of the safe and stuff that he hides the safe behind with Chucky's head. Nice callback to the third one. And then him with the blowtorch and everything, torturing Chucky, and just awesome stuff. And we have another cool opening credits with the news clippings and everything. And they mention Alice, but I noticed it on this watch. It says Alice Pierce. That's not her last name. That's Nika's last name. So her last name, wouldn't it be whatever Ian, the father's last name was from the first movie? That doesn't make sense. So they fucked that up because her last name should not be Pierce. But nice little credits and everything. Fiona Dourif's acting in this is phenomenal. It was great in the last one, but this movie, I think she just completely shines. Just from the opening scene with her, with the ECT being done to her, and just the way her body moves and everything, the way she portrays being shocked by the ECT machine. Awesome. And just this is Brad Dourif's daughter, man. Later on when she's taken over by Chucky and the way she acts and everything and the laugh, this is a Dourif, through and through, man. She does such a phenomenal job in this movie. And so does Nika really believe at the beginning that Chucky was just a delusion when Dr. Foley's talking to her and everything, and she's saying that she sees Chucky in her dreams and everything, and the murders, and he says that they were real murders, they really happened, and who was responsible, and she says she was and everything. I don't know. Does she think that at the very beginning? Then once she's transferred, and then all this Chucky stuff starts happening, then she starts really believing again that no, this was Chucky who did all this? Or is she just playing it off to not sound crazy at that point? I'm leaning more towards that she was just, playing a role of just I can't keep saying this doll did this, otherwise, I never have a chance of getting out of here, which she really shouldn't anyway because of what she was tried for and everything. But she's diagnosed as schizophrenic, and we find out that's her diagnosis, that she was a schizophrenic. Then we meet Multiple Malcolm, he's a fun character. And there's a great little reference to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when she gives him the gum, trades it for a cigarette. He goes, "Oh, juicy fruit," which anyone who's seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Brad Dourif was in that. I'm pretty sure that was his first film that he was in. So nice little callback to that, and they have another callback later on with that. And then we have just Malcolm fucking Nika in the hallway and everything, in this medium security psychiatric hospital, which I'll get to. It's just some ridiculous shit in this movie about that. I love their little group session and Malcolm, they're talking about the hell is her name, the Asian chick, and she's saying that she's living down the hallway from a multiple murderer, and then the other one corrects her and says mass murderer, there's a difference, which they played on in the last few movies. And she says like, I want to know, and then like Malcolm says like, why'd you burn your house down? And she's like, you always bring that up. Like, that's funny. This movie is absolutely the goriest in the whole series, which is, as a gorehound, love it. Like, the kills are excellent in this movie. And there's not too much comedy in this, like same with Curse and stuff. There's some, but like there's some funny lines, but much more dark humor than obviously Bride and Seed and everything. But that's so funny. You always bring that up. Like, like when Angela gets up and she says that Alice isn't okay, and Chucky told me, and then he says he's coming for you, like, because you have visiting hours and stuff. It's creepy dialogue, man. Like, she delivers those lines really well. Then Dr. Foley brings out the Chucky doll and says that there were 50 different names for the good guy dolls back in the 80s, and that like 2% of them were Chucky, and that he specifically paid for a Chucky one. And then they say, where'd you get it? And he said, Hot Topic. That's fucking hilarious, man. And they sell, no fucking way are they selling original good guy dolls in 2017 at a Hot Topic. Like, there's no way. Like, just throwing that in for a joke is funny, but like, they couldn't have just said he got it on eBay somewhere, like, to make it like more realistic that it's an actual good guy doll. Like, that's fucking silly. Like, come on. And the whole fact of just bringing a Chucky doll into this mental asylum, knowing that Nika's whole delusion and everything is based off of this doll, is sick. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Seriously, that's like giving John Wayne Gacy fucking clown makeup. You know what I mean? Like, no doctor would ever do that. Like, that's absolutely insane. I can see it with Maddie, like, since she killed her kid and stuff, and they do that, like, in therapy, like, using dolls and stuff like that as therapy and stuff like that. But for Nika, and like, that's the whole story that she gave, is that this doll is what killed everybody and she didn't do anything, and he has the audacity to bring one of those dolls into this facility. Like, come on, really? Like, that's so ridiculous. And we get the scene with Tiffany showing up with the other Chucky doll, and the great little meta line, like, from the Seed and Bride of Chucky, when she's like, anyone ever tell you look exactly like Jennifer Tilly? And I get that all the time. Like, great stuff. Really cool. She says that Alice is dead, and just drops it on her like it's the most casual thing in the world. Like, how's Alice? Oh, she's dead, Mrs. Pierce. Like, and the doctor's like, I wish you would have told me. Oh, I didn't? Like, I thought I did. And then she just takes the fucking tissue out. She's like, I'm going through an ordeal here. Like, oh, I love Jennifer Tilly, man. It's so good to see her back in this. And she says that she died of a broken heart, which, if I hear one more fucking movie, I said this in the Hatchet franchise with fucking Victor Crowley's father. They repeat it like 3 times in that series, that he died of a broken heart, and I kept saying in those videos, I want to know how he fucking died. That's not a reason. Like, and then I heard it here, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, tell me how she died. Like, then they do later, which is fine, but like, just that whole died of a broken heart thing that they use in movies has to just be done with. Like, they have to just remove that and never use it again in a movie, because it infuriates me, especially in the Hatchet franchise. Like, I was really fuming over that. Like, please just tell me how he fucking died. He didn't die of a broken heart. Something happened. Like, something medical, like physical, happened to this person. He didn't just die from sadness. Like, that's such a cop-out way of saying how somebody died. Come on. And then just here's some of the just ridiculousness of this. Carlos, he was wearing headphones as staff working in a psychiatric ward. Never would happen. Ever. Are you fucking kidding me? They allow them to wear headphones while they're on duty in a psychiatric hospital with murderers and fucking split personality people and patients and stuff like that. Never would happen. I'm pretty sure that's fucking against the law. Like, no place would allow them to do that. And then they have just scalpels and like sharp objects and shit in unlocked drawers, just right next to him, like in his little like booth that he's in, that's facing away from all the patients' doors and their rooms and everything. And but like, no locks on these drawers, that anyone could just come in and take anything, just like Chucky comes in and grabs a scalpel with no issue. Come on, really? Like, they couldn't pay more attention to shit like that. Like, it's like I said, these are like little nitpicks and stuff, but some of them are like really fucking annoying when I see. That's one of them. They have just sharp ass objects and killing utensils and stuff, and scalpels and a power drill that one of the Chucky dolls uses later and stuff, that are all just in unlocked drawers that any of these patients, because they're just freely allowed to like roam around this hospital like at will. They even let them go into patients' rooms after they're killed or commit suicide, as they think in the beginning, and they just let the other patients just walk in and stare at the dead bodies and like listen to the doctor like talking to the patient, like, which should be confidential shit, and like they're just allowed to hang out there. And the come on, man, really? Like, that's so ridiculous. It's not even funny. That's fucking stupid. And then Angela, the whole thing with Angela meets Chucky, and she gives the whole thing like, "Can you see me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then and their whole little banter right there. And he's like, "Lady," he's like, "I'm a mass-produced toy from the 80s. I'm standing right in front of you with a very sharp scalpel." And she's like, just their whole banter and stuff like that. And then she's like, "I'm a schizophrenic. I see things." She's like, "You're the bitch I talked to on the phone last night." And she's like, "I can hear things." She's like, "You know what?" He's like, "You're next. Fucking, I'll be right back." That's so funny. And then Nika tries committing suicide after finding out that Alice is dead and everything. And Stucky, yeah, that's his name now, Stucky the killer doll. Chucky ends up stitching her arm back together, and then goes over and kills Angela and makes her look like she killed herself and put Chucky did it in the blood. That's cool. But he stitched Nika's arm up and stuff. Where'd he get the equipment for all that? Like, I mean, yeah, it's a hospital, but like running, how do you run around and like get all that? Like, I'm overanalyzing like I always do, but it's fucking silly. It's ridiculous. Angela's dead. So then they let Andy in this hospital because they show the secure or camera footage and stuff that Andy's watching with Chucky's head, and him trying to show Dr. Foley that Chucky's alive. And they let him in with a fucking gun. Like, yeah, it's not a real gun and stuff. Like, he's shooting whatever blanks at it or something just to get a reaction out of Chucky. And he's like, "You should work in the movies and everything." He's like, "No, he's real." But they let him in there with a gun of any sort. That's insane. That is so insane. Like, they don't know who this guy is. He could be fucking crazy. And even if they like looked his name up, they'd see all the crazy shit from his past, saying that this doll was a fucking killer and tried killing him and everything. And they let him in with a gun. They don't know if this guy has actual bullets in his pocket or something that he can just replace and just go postal on the whole place. Like, come on, man, really? That's so silly. Fucking gun into a psychiatric hospital. And then him biting Claire, that's her name, the Asian chick, biting Claire on the wrist, just like Chucky bit Mrs. Barkley in the first movie. Like, that's a cool little callback. And her saying that now he's alive, and they take her and like sedate her and everything. That's a cool little scene. And then they make you think that Malcolm is taken over by Chucky after like he comes out of the grave with the doll and everything. It's cool little misdirection, like especially because he has like the whole multiple personality thing. And then I love how later on when he's saying that he hacked into the doctor's computer and it's easier than being head of a $200 billion corporation. Nika's like, "You're Mark Zuckerberg now?" And he's like, "Yeah." That's funny. And Claire's death, man, is brutal. And it reminds me just like in Bride of Chucky. And I said that's my favorite kill in the series, with the champagne bottle thrown at the mirror in the ceiling, and it comes crashing down on the waterbed with the couple and stuff. Very similar to that with the compressed air, and he just fires it off. And it's so well shot. That is such a well shot scene. Like with just the compressed air flying up and everything coming down and just decapitates her, and the blood squirting out of her neck and everything, and then like the snow is coming in from the the window in the ceiling that's broken. Like, so well shot. That's such a great scene. I love the buzz cut Chucky that Andy sends. And it's just like a cool little callback to 3 and stuff, like how they buzz cut all their hair and everything. And when the barber that I said in that video is just way too obsessed with his job, man, and loves cutting hair to like a perverted degree almost, was going to give Chucky a buzz cut, and then he got killed before he can do it. So that's a nice little callback to that. There's a lot of great callbacks in this movie. Awesome stuff. And so we find out Dr. Foley's been like molesting Nika during like their why the fuck can't I talk today? Their hypnosis sessions and everything like that, which is fucked up, man. And then even Chucky says like, they call me sick. This guy's diabolical. So I love that so much. Chucky has great lines in this. That was one thing I forgot to mention in Curse in the last video, is that I feel like even Brad Dourif's voice acting wasn't up to par with the rest of the series. And I feel like he didn't have enough lines. Like, I don't know, there was something about his voice acting in Curse that just, it didn't hit right with me. Like, I don't know, it's weird. But back in this, like, back to normal. Like, it sounds really good. And the look of Chucky in this is great too. Like I said in Curse, I did not care for how he looked, and even though he has that fat face and stuff, and yeah, it's to reveal the scars later on and everything, but still, like, he just did not look good in that movie at all for me. And I was so happy when I first saw this that they changed his look back up and stuff and made him look so much better in this, because he looks a million times better than the first half of Curse of Chucky, like, for sure. And then we get a phone call between Andy and Tiffany, which is great. Like, even though they're not in the same scene, it's a split screen and everything, and they're just having a phone call. But just having Andy and Tiffany finally together talking in a Chucky movie, awesome. Like, so good. It says that Chucky has a message for you and everything, and that it's in one word, disembowel, like, great stuff. Jennifer Tilly's so good, and fucking Alex Vincent does good performance in this movie. Like, he does very well, which is cool to see him go from playing Andy as a child and being a child actor and stuff, and then reprising that role as an adult and still being able to jump into that role, because it feels like Andy. Like, this feels like naturally where Andy would grow into, like the guy that he would grow into after everything that he went through as a kid. So, like, good job by Alex Vincent for the way he portrays Andy's character all grown up and everything. Yeah, I said all this before with letting patients in rooms and listening to all this private shit and everything. That's so ridiculous. But this is the most egregious shit in this movie. Like, this is just completely ridiculous and insane. That Andy shows up to save the day and everything, great. And then he's saying that, like, to the security guard and stuff, that just commit me and stuff. And then he punches him in the face. And then immediately he's committed to this place. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Are you kidding me? That is so stupid. Why? Like, just to get him in there, yeah, for like the ending and everything. But seriously, they didn't think that out. That would never, ever happen. That's what people have rights for. They would call the cops would come and arrest Andy. They'd, press charges for assault on this guy and stuff, or then have a trial, or if I can plead down to whatever and stuff, or determine if he's like mentally incapable of whatever, and then remanding him to some type of place. Never ever would happen that he would just punch a security guard and then they would just take him into this place and commit him. That is egregiously stupid shit. Like, every time I've seen this movie, I say the same thing. That is so ridiculous. Absolutely insane. And then we get Chucky shoving his hand down Maddie's throat. Looks awesome. Like, at first, the first time I saw this movie, I thought he was gonna, like, just rip her jaw off and stuff. And then, like, you just see him, like, shoving his fucking fist down her throat and, like, pulling out her, like, entrails, like, her inside and stuff. Awesome stuff. But, like, who does that to themselves to commit suicide? She says it, the doctor says she did it to herself. Like, really? Like, come on. Like, somebody did that to themselves. Like, at this point is, like, the point that I'd be like, all right, maybe there's some, like, believability and truth to this whole Chucky being alive thing, because there's no way she did that to herself. Like, and, like, pulled her insides out of her throat and stuff, and then, like, still being able to put the doll's, like, arm in her mouth and everything. Come on, that's so silly. And then again with the doctor and stuff, he doesn't lock his door. Like, there's no locks anywhere in this hospital. Like, this is the head of the hospital, like, it's the doctor and everything, who happens to, like, be there 24/7, even though he also works at the place that Nico was transferred from. And that's another thing, like, with the shifts and stuff. Carlos is always there. Always. Like, there's never someone who takes his place. And they only mention at the beginning that the two nurses, like, switch shifts and stuff like that. It is so understaffed, this place, and none of them have, like, days off or anything. Like, Carlos is there the entire time. And the same with the doctor. And then he walks in and Nika's there and stuff. His door is completely unlocked. And then he asks her, like, Nika, how'd you get in here? I don't know. Like, you look at the way you just did it. Like, and that's how she did it. That's her. That's the answer right there. Like, you don't lock your door. What, is she incapable of fucking pulling down a door handle and wheeling in? Like... That's so silly. And then again with Chucky, when he just knocks him out again, and he's like, I don't know whether to kill him or just take notes. Like, that's hilarious. So good. And then all the banter between the three dolls and stuff, with the buzz cut one and the other one and then the main one, and just their banter back and forth and stuff, like, is so hilarious. Like, that's such a great scene, man. Everything about that scene is awesome. And then bringing up Alice and stuff, and exactly what happened to her and stuff, that she was possessed by Chucky, and that they were using her to kill and everything, and that, you know, little girls and stuff are just as innocent as little dolls, but, like, unlike the dolls and stuff, when the victims fight back, like, you know, shit can happen, and we find out that's how Alice died, and it's probably one of her victims, you know, fighting back and killed her, which, that's so sad, man. That sucks. I think the whole thing with the three of them, the three dolls killing Carlos, awesome. That is such a great kill. That is such a great scene. Everything about it is just awesome. So well done. And the gore and the effects in this movie are great. Like, it all looks great. Like, there wasn't one kill in this movie that I said to myself, that doesn't look too good. And so, like, all of it looks amazing. Really, really cool stuff. Then we get Chucky Nika, when she gets to stand up out of her chair and stuff, and tells the doctor, like, there's some perks to being supernaturally possessed, and this is for Nika, and she just stomps the shit out of his face, dude. That might be my favorite kill in this movie. Like, the way, and after, it's so funny and ironic too, that it's after he has some foot fetish, apparently, the doctor, and, like, was putting the red slipper on her, the red shoe. Then she uses that to stomp his face in until it's just fucking mush. Like, awesome. So cool. Such a great death. And what a dickhead doctor, man. Every movie, when there's a doctor and stuff, he happens to be, like, a psychopath too, or, like, a fucking molester, or a pedophile, or some weird shit. And I'm so glad that he got his face stomped into oblivion. So. And then we get Malcolm and stuff, Malcolm's death, which, man, I feel bad for Malcolm, man. Like, when his whole little speech before he gets killed, when he's talking to Nika, and he's like, I just want to be someone who matters. Like, I'm not Mark, I'm not whoever the fuck, like, I'm just Malcolm. And, like, you feel for him. Like, I do, at least. Like, just listen to this guy and stuff. Like, he's really just lost, man. He's just mentally ill, and he just wants to be somebody. He wants to be someone who matters. And he just gets the fucking power drill from Chucky right through the back of his head, coming out of his eye and stuff. It looks awesome. So good. Awesome stuff. And then the whole thing with, like I said, this wouldn't even happen because Andy wouldn't be in there. But disregarding that insane shit that happened earlier, him in the room and everything with the buzz cut Chucky coming in, and I love when they're arguing over who's gonna kill Andy, and they're like, I'm gonna. He's like, have you seen my hair and stuff like that? They're like, all right, you go, you got him, go fuck him up, guy. That's so awesome. And then really clever though, how he's the one who sent the buzz cut Chucky and had a gun fucking sewn up, stuffed inside him and everything. Really cool. Like I said though, if it was plausible that he was in there in the first place, but disregarding that, just really cool. And he pulls that out and stuff, and then this is the end, fucker, just like in the first movie. This is the end, friend. And just starts shooting him to death, and just fucking stomps on his face, and just like the gore on Chucky too looks awesome. Like when his face is all stomped apart and everything, and the blood and everything coming out of it, so good. Then we have the ending with Nika walking out, and Tiffany's there waiting for her, and again, we get the whole little "you look great" Tiff line, and they're making out, and like, this is new, and Tiffany's like, I can get into it and stuff. So good. And then they get in the car and they mention Alice. Tiffany's like, I really kind of wish Alice was still around. I liked having her around. And then Nika Chucky's just like, yeah, fuck that kid. And then they all start laughing. The two of them start laughing, and then we see the Tiffany doll is alive in the back, and the three of them are cackling and everything. Like I said, like, her performance, Fiona Dorff in this, is just phenomenal. Like, she does such a great job. She does such a great job in the TV series too, and I can't wait for the second one. And they just drive off all laughing, and then we get the post-credit scene with Kyle, which was so good to see Kyle again before the TV series and everything, but like, just seeing her come in and saying, Andy sent me and stuff, and then just starts torturing Chucky's head and everything. So good. And that ends the Child's Play franchise. This has been such a blast rewatching all of these back to back. One of my favorite franchises in horror, like I said, throughout. And I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Like, I was thinking maybe the Wishmaster movies, because last night, like, Tubi, you know, it like autoplay something else. I woke up to like Wishmaster 3 or something playing, which I don't really care for 3 or 4, but the first two I absolutely love. Like, Wishmaster's great movies, the first two, if you guys haven't seen that. And then August is coming up soon, which I'm doing in Argento August. So every weekend throughout August, I will be covering all of Dario Argento's work, which I cannot wait for. I absolutely love Argento. He's one of my favorite directors, and that'll be definitely a fun little month going through all of his movies. But alright guys, that ends Child's Play, and I'll see what I do next. Like I said, I'm thinking Wishmaster. So I don't know if I'll have any up tonight. Maybe the first or second one, the two of them. Who knows? I don't know. But alright, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.